Hey bookies, hey bookies, hey bookies. To all my old subbies, yo. To all my new subbies, yo. Alright, y'all, so I am back. And for the people that don't know me, my name is Lexis, Lexxiis. And on this channel, we talk about everything. Basically, my journey in becoming more Christ-like, as well as just some fitness videos, as well as some girl videos. Like today, we're gonna do skincare and hair while I get ready for school because I started cosmetology school. Yes, today's my first day. And yeah, and I'm starting a new series. So I'm super duper excited about starting this new series. And y'all know I hate a long intro, so let's just get right into it.
Soften up the mess, drop it in the water, let the daughter find her image with the rest. She'll be learning how to breathe, spinning through identity, reveal another pretty little scheme. Save her mind, hold her hand.
I felt like this lighting is different and it would be cute, so we're gonna do it this way. But yeah, so the series is called What the Church Doesn't Tell You. And this is not a derogatory video against churches, because as a Christian, I believe you need a church, you feel me? But what made me kind of feel this way is pretty much just, I feel like we are so good at getting revelation and Bible verses, and we can talk about the spirit realm and we can talk about all this other stuff, but the actual human experience of becoming a Christian, especially a woman, I want to be speaking from the women's aspect or women's side because I am a woman. So what that looks like as in losing friends, what does that look like as in just losing your taste for the world, and then what that looks like in separate chapters of your life. And I feel like when I talk to my friends, we kind of have a common thread that I feel like most Christians can relate to. And I feel like if you watch Christian talk content, it's like, yeah, it's like, so you feel me? Or you be like, okay, so I'm not the only one, I'm not tripping. You know what I'm saying? So we call wilderness season, we have isolation season, we have this, that, and third. So I'm gonna kind of like maybe wherever you're at, but I feel like this is like the first one that I experienced, and I just kind of want to talk about it. So this one is just losing your taste for everything. That's what it's titled, losing your taste for everything. And what I mean for that is just one day I felt like you wake up, and this is before you start to give your life to Christ, like something either happens or you feel like, I'm gonna speak from my perspective. I felt like I was having a whole bunch of accomplishments on paper, but nothing to show for it in real life. And I felt like I was chasing my tail. I was chasing my tail and getting in the same place every single year. And I was sitting in the club looking at everybody and was just like, this can't be life. Like, I was here last year with the same type of people, but not the same exact people. And actually, no, that year I really was with the same exact people, but none of them were my friends. They were like my dad's friends. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, yeah, I'm kind of like over it. And in the club, I'm sitting there like, God, you know what? You take the boat. You'll take the boat, because I obviously don't know what I'm doing. And I feel like if I go through another year of doing the same thing that I've been doing and expecting a different result, I'm gonna go insane. Like, I'm really gonna go insane. So I'm gonna try something different. So after that, I was telling my friend, we're no longer friends, we're cool now, but I was like, hey, I just kind of want to switch things up, you feel me? I kind of just want to go to different places, because the places that we've been going, we've been meeting the same type of guys, and it ain't working, you feel me? It's not working. So I don't want to go to certain clubs, certain place, blase squad. At first she was all for it, you feel me? But it's really hard to be like a habit, especially when you're a creature of habit, and like, you know what I'm saying, you have a certain type of not aesthetic, but a certain type of dude that you like, or you feel me, like, or where you think they would be, stuff like that. So I kind of was just like, when I would go to the club or wherever, because it was going to gradually happen, I was just not having fun. Like, I'll be sitting there waiting for it to be over. Like, I'm like, okay, this is not life. So it became exhausting. And then I started canceling plans. Like, oh, I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. And I feel like, yeah, you if you know, you know. You feel me? It's just like, yeah, I don't want to go. And then it starts to look like you're moving funny. But in actuality, it's just like you're just losing a taste for things. Like, it used to, like, fill my flesh, but like my flesh is full. Like, at this point, it's disgusting. Like, so it's like my spirit is empty and I'm looking to feel something else, and this is just not it. And then it was kind of like, I kind of lost all my friends, and this was on purpose, not realizing it at the time. And because one, I just did not have the energy to always kind of explain why I didn't want to go somewhere. And then on top of that, it's like I was in a transition season, and I felt like I could not steward over my friendships the way you should steward over your friendships, because I was figuring myself out. Like, I literally was in a season of like, I don't know what the heck I want out of life, but it's not it. And it's really hard to bring somebody with you when you don't know where you're going. or like, you know, having FOMO. You feel me? Like you want to go out. Everybody's having the experiences, but you don't want to do that, and everybody wants to do that. So it actually was like a weight lifted off of me when I decided to stop being friends with you know, just people in that season, because if I wanted to stay in the house, I could. You feel me? If I wanted to just watch TV and not answer my phone, I could, because I didn't have anybody to answer to. And I feel like this season is a lot different, especially if you are in a partnership, in a relationship. Thank God I dealt with this when I was single. But yeah, I can't speak on that part. So that was that. And then it was losing a taste for, and everything, like I said, came in stages, but even this particular stage came in stages. So at the time I wasn't smoking as much, but you know, I was still drinking, but not drinking as much. And at the time it was like, I watched a sermon, and the sermon was just like, if you run to it before you run to God, it's an idol. And I don't know why, but I knew that. But like how they said it, when they said it, it just hit different at that time. So because of that, I would, every single time I would try to run to the blunt, I would be like, why am I doing that? Like, all right, what just happened for me to want to smoke? You feel me? Or what text message did I just send that I'm anxious about, and I'm anxious about their response, so now I want to smoke because I want to distract myself? Or, you know what I'm saying? Or what, did I just see a bill, or did I just look at my bank account? Like, I would realize when what would trigger me to want to smoke, because I was just fine like 2 minutes ago, and all of a sudden like, oh, let me roll a blunt. For what? For what? You feel me? So I became super duper aware of it, and I made it a conscious decision of, all right, let me sit still. I didn't just pop up my Bible. Like, that was later on. But it was more so, I didn't just open up my Bible. I sat there and was like, all right, God, I'm feeling this way. How do I get through this feeling? God's like, you're gonna be all right regardless. If this person doesn't respond the way you want to respond, boom, that's another answer that you've gotten. Like, I would process those emotions in the moment rather than trying to suppress them. And I feel like that was a game changer, because it started making me analyze my emotions. And I feel like, you know, when you smoke or you drink, you don't confront your emotions. It's really, you're just suppressing them. You feel me? So I'm like, all right, I'm angry about this bill. How is this going to get done? You know, and it's just like, all right, pray about it. Oh, you know, look for a job, or do this, do that. Like, I was using a healthy relief, or just a plan, rather than running away from the problem. Now, it's still, now because I don't have any weed or, you know, things to run to, I am forced to do that. And sometimes I'll run to TV. So I'm still working on it. You feel me? I'm still working on it. But, so yeah, that was one. And then, y'all know I speak at a tangent, so I hope y'all can just keep up with me. And I'm trying to do my hair, and it's kind of dark. Like, work with me. But yeah, the other part was just not feeling, I would say, up to do anything. Like, okay, so I stopped drinking, right? And because, one, I stopped going to the club, so I stopped putting myself in a position to drink. I feel like a lot of people, I'm gonna stop drinking, but then all your friends drink, and then you go to the club all the time and think that you're gonna stop drinking. No, you have to take yourself out of that environment first, and like basically cleanse yourself, like fast yourself without you realizing you're fasting. Just take yourself out of that environment. So stop smoking, stop drinking. And then when I would go to the club, like when I would like get something to drink, I'd just be like, but I don't want to get drunk. So I was drinking less and less, and it was just like, you know what? Yeah, I just don't want to drink it, because I'm not trying to get tipsy. I'm not trying to get drunk. Why am I drinking? Like, we're not celebrating anything. We're not celebrating anything. So I'll drink wine now, but I don't drink alcohol. And I did a video on my TikTok, and if you don't follow me on TikTok, why not? We just hit 10K. We just hit 10K. But yeah, I was kind of just like, alcohol literally means, it's derived from the Arabic word akule, which meaning body eating spirits. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. Body eating spirits. And its job is literally to separate you from God. It makes you want to sin. And when I get blacked out drunk, that's spirit possession. Like in Romans 8:11, God basically says, like, well, Paul, but you know, inspired by God, says like, you cannot be governed by the flesh and the spirit at the same time. Like, and if you are governed by the flesh, you're not governed by the spirit, meaning the Holy Spirit is not dwelling in you in that moment. You feel me? So if I'm getting drunk, and it says drunkards will not inherit the kingdom of heaven, just like the sexual immoral. And when you drink and when you smoke, like, it literally makes you want to sin. But mostly drinking. You feel me? And smoking was more so, it says be of sober mind, especially because the enemy prowls like a lion looking for someone to devour. So I need to be on my P's and Q's at all times. And if I'm constantly high, like, he has the upper hand. So why would I want to give him the upper hand on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? So that was something that I had to sit with. So I stopped smoking and I stopped drinking. And then, and because I stopped dealing with certain dudes or certain, y'all hear my cat? He's the most annoying cat ever. I promise you guys. Like, I'm actually finna like give him away. I know I sound really mean, but I genuinely just cannot. He's worse than a child. But what's it called again? He was talking about he was. You trying to catch my train of thought. Take much for me to get drunk or high, so that means I can't do it. And I was always honestly afraid of getting like addicted to something, so I would quit things cold turkey if I felt like my tolerance was getting too high, and then later on I would come back to it, just because I always felt like, what if I get down bad and like that is I'm addicted to it, you know, and I feel like I can't live without it, and now I can't afford it. And I know people that are like, they can't pay their bills, but for some reason they always got $30 to go get them, you know, a dub, or, you know, a dime, or whatever the case may be. And I've seen people be down bad like that. You feel me? So I was just like, I never wanted that fiend like feeling or experience, so I just would cut things cold turkey. So this was nothing new of cutting things cold turkey, but this time I knew I wasn't going to come back. You know what I'm saying? But it comes with its own struggles, because when you're having a really crappy day and you were like really used to like running to that, and you know that you can't, and there's days when we're imperfect Christians, I would run to TV, or I would run to food. You know what I'm saying? So that was also becoming an idol. And we're going to talk about fitness on my page a lot, because your girl has lost a lot of weight. Okay? And not in a bad way. I'm just getting strong. Got my first pull up. But let's keep it track. Keep it track. But yeah, and it just was a eye opener of, I really not great at dealing with my emotions, and I feel like a lot of people aren't. So that was a major thing that happened. So, and then on top of that, music. What type of music and the type of like stuff you listen to really does matter. So I would listen to sermons in the morning, I would listen to gospel, and then I would listen to anything inspirational. You feel me? So because I was filling my mind with stuff like that in the podcast I was watching, they were saying like, what you listen to matters. So because I was being super intentional of what I was doing, and like, you know, reading my Bible and going to church, I would listen to certain music and says, this does not serve me. This does not serve me. And then I decided to go abstinent. It was not on purpose at first. It was because I wasn't really rocking with anybody that I liked. You know, nobody was catching my eye. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this for God. And I'm still on that journey. Okay. I am still on that journey. And it's like, I want to say this all happened this all happened the same year. So it's been about 3.5 years, you know, 3 and some years or whatever, of just really locking in with God. And that just trickled down into just so much other stuff, as far as, like I said, abstinence, what I listen to, what I don't smoke, I don't drink. So I started to lose a taste for the world. And when I say the world, because some people don't experience drinking and smoking as their vice and stuff like that, but that was my world. You feel me? I stopped cursing. I made it a very big thing. I don't curse. Even if I accidentally curse in my head, I repent immediately. I'm like, oh, sorry, God. Didn't mean to say that. Like, I don't know where that came from. You know what I'm saying? Because one, there's power in the tongue. And it said what spews out of a person's mouth is what defiles them. You feel me? Because it comes out of a person's heart. So if I'm cursing a lot, there's something wrong with my heart posture. You feel me? So I realized, like, the more I was feeding myself good stuff and trying to act out the fruits of the spirit, automatically I was becoming more and more like Christ-like. And that started taking the cursing away. A lot of people, they think they can just stop cursing. Like, maybe you can, but I feel like the more you replace it with, one, your identity in Christ, and just really practicing the fruits of the spirit, which is that self-control, that peace, that love, that kindness, and watching what you say intentionally, I feel like naturally it starts to already like present itself. You feel me? Like, it's just a byproduct of what you're doing. So you can't be in the club listening to, you know, cursing music, and, you know, drinking, because you're not sober mind, so you're gonna be just automatically not gonna be as intentional. You feel me? You can't be doing you know, just gossiping with your friends and all this other stuff, like, you know, just constantly putting yourself in an environment that's all you're surrounded by, and then think that you're just gonna stop cursing. Now when people curse around me, it's like, honestly, it's funny, because every time somebody curses around me, no matter how old they are, they always say, I'm sorry, Lexi. Like my grandma, my mama, like my stepmom, I'm like, oh, so sorry, Lexi. And I'm like, what you apologizing to me for? Like, you feel me? But it's so funny, because I'm so big on like, you know, like no, especially we're ladies, like don't curse, you feel me? And I'm a type of person, I had a potty mouth. I had a sailor's mouth. I would say like 17 curse words in one sentence. For what reason? I have no idea why, but Snapchat will always humble me and make me realize where I came from, okay? So, yeah, I think that was a really big thing that I experienced in the first year. Not everybody's first year is not the same. A lot of people are still, you know, doing so, but I just feel like overall, you lose the taste for the world. You start switching out your friends. You start going to church more, or you want Bible study friends, or even your algorithm on social media changes. Because if you're looking up Bible stuff or stuff on Christian TikTok, or you know, just influencers that are reading their Bible, automatically your algorithm changes, so you start to see things differently, you feel me? You start to experience a whole different world, and the world that you once knew has now changed. Because now, like, I don't be knowing nothing that's going on in the world, for real. Like, they be like, oh, Cardi B with this person, I don't know who that is. Like, oh, this, I don't know, Bookie. I watch anime and Teen Wolf and go to church, and yeah, like I don't follow the Shade Room. I don't follow, like, that stuff don't pop up on my feed, you feel me? Like, I got people doing skits about the Bible on my feed, you feel me? So I'm listening to what new Christian rap song is, you know, coming out. I'm not knowing what new artist is out here right now, and you know, who got a grip. I'm not hip. That's what these kids be saying, hip. I don't even be knowing the slang. I live in my own world. Everybody say I live under a rock. I do. I really live in my own world. I think it's better there because this world is exhausting. So yeah, before I get on a tangent, so let me look at my other points. Hold on. Oh, and I'll say not the last one, but obviously I'm gonna try to keep this video somewhat short. You feel me? I think this one is the one that kind of hurts the most. You start seeing people differently, and not in a way that's like, oh, okay, like, no. When you have that veil lifted through your, like, from your eyes, you see personality traits, you see things that you normally wouldn't see, and not in a judgmental way, in a very, like, it makes you grieve. One, because you start to question, were you always like this and I just did not see this? Or did you become this? You know what I'm saying? Like, one, it's a reflection of you too, because if you was like this, or you start to see what you used to do in other people, that makes you grieve. Like, then I was really this person. Like, wow, like, ew, I didn't like that I didn't like that version of me. But if not, and you start to see people, it's so sad, because you're like, you're a snake, or, you know, you're really broken, like, or, you know, you really don't have self-love, or yeah, you start to grieve people. And I think the worst thing you could do is, like, if you were really close with somebody and you used to, like, you know, rock with them in a way, especially family members, you feel me? And you know, they're not really taking their journey seriously, even if they are a Christian or whatever, you feel me? And you guys are like growing at different rates. I don't know, it just grieves when you see people have a false reassurance of what Christ is. You know what I'm saying? A false reassurance of, oh, I'm gonna go to heaven because I believe in, you know, Jesus Christ, and I believe that I can purposely and just willfully sin all day, and, you know, and God just knows my heart. And it's just like, we are meant to be sanctified on here on earth, you feel me? We're not meant to be perfect, but the purpose that Jesus died on the cross for is for us to be sanctified, so we can be justified, you know, through him the day judgment day comes. And if you are purposely, you feel me, intentionally sinning and living a life of sin, you feel me? It's one thing to sin, it's another thing to live a life of sin, and think because you said the sinner's prayer that you are Gucci. It's such a sad thing to see that so many people have a false reassurance of the Lord that we serve. Or when you're looking at, you know, just politics and stuff like that, and it's like you're arguing with people of, this is not a popularity contest, this is biblical, this is, not seeing things the same, but we're supposed to be reading the same Bible. And it's so disheartening, it's so it's like you grieve because it's like, dang, we literally are not here. We literally do not see from the same type of lens. And I understand that we all live like this. We can live the same lives and live different realities. That I am completely aware of. But when somebody sees the world completely opposite of you, that to me is one of the saddest things ever, especially when y'all used to be in sync, especially when y'all used to be on point. You feel me? And it's like, how best to explain it? Like, there's certain things I refuse to stress about. You feel me? Like, oh, my rent not being paid. I don't know, but God gonna do it. And then somebody's like, well, what you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? I'm not gonna do anything about it. I've done my part. Well, no, that you're being lazy. I'm trusting in God. And now you have to already, try not to stress because you're human. You feel me? Because you really want to depend on God. But then you have people like trying to make you stress out when you're like, no, I'm choosing to depend on God. I'm choosing to, quit my job because I'm being obedient to God, or I'm choosing to do certain things and just be obedient to the Lord I serve. But because you don't understand it and because you're not there yet or haven't experienced what I've experienced, you don't know what it is to trust in God. And it's so hard to constantly convince somebody of what you're doing when half the time you don't know what you're doing. So it is super exhausting and disheartening because it's like, now I can't really tell you stuff. Or you're going to put doubt in my head. Not because you don't love me. You feel me? And not because you don't want the best for me. But you're projecting. And somebody that doesn't really know how to truly put their faith in God, because there's things where people are like, yeah, God gonna come through. That's a saying. You feel me? Like, it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to really have experienced it intentionally. Because it's one thing you worry, and then boom, God, show up, and you're kind of like, see, God, won't He do it? But then to step out on faith, like step out of the boat, it's a different thing. And when people haven't experienced that, it becomes so difficult. It becomes so like, y'all, if you know of everything that you have to do, because some people gonna call you lazy, some people gonna call you don't want to work, some people this, that, and the third, and this is like, okay, like, and then it's like, I can't argue with you because me and you, we don't serve the same type of God. Like, we don't have the same relationship. You serve an idea. I serve my Father. You serve the ideology, the religious aspect of a God. I serve, like, I know who I'm serving because I talk to my Lord. I know His voice. I know what disappointment. Like, I don't want Him to be disappointed in me because I have that type of relationship. You don't mind disappointing God because you believe that His grace is just sufficient, and you don't have that conviction yet of, yes, His grace is sufficient, and that is going to be forever not change. But I don't want to purposely disrespect my Father. I don't want to, take advantage of His grace. You know what I'm saying? And I also want the will of His, will for my life. I want His will for my life over my will. And that means stepping out on faith even when it doesn't make sense. But because people project and don't know what that truly looks like, they push it onto you. And it becomes sad because you got to stop talking to them as much. You got to start moving, a lot different. You know what I'm saying? Like, or you just don't want to tell them stuff. You feel me? And when you stop telling people certain stuff that used to truly be locked in with, it becomes like, oh, so you don't rock with me, you don't do that, and you don't want to say no, but it's like, you really don't. We not there. Hold on, y'all. And now you start to look funny. Now you fake. Now you this. Now you that. Or you think that you're more righteous than somebody. You could not say nothing and live your life the way you decide to live your life. And some people will come in there. Some people like, I love the way you move, and like, it inspires some people. But to other people, even though you're not judging them and you're allowing them to live their life, but because you choose to live your life differently, automatically you're telling them that you are better than them, or you feel like you're better than them. And that don't be the case, but because of that spirit of envy, and I say envy because people don't be jealous of you, they be jealous of the light that comes out of you. Like Jesus, you understand that those demonic spirits or spirits that's on that person is triggered by the light. And it's like, how dare they shine? How dare they shine? And unfortunately, and thank God, I really do literally thank God that I don't receive a lot of negativity, but I do receive negativity. And I feel like at the rate that I can endure, especially because I'm so bold about my faith. Like, I'm bold. So because of that, I see so much of the good side of it and how many people have really transformed their lives as well or on that journey. But I also see the side of it where you know, it can be very controversial. Or I see like watching someone's like demons manifest in front of your eyes by telling the truth is unmatched. Unmatched, y'all. I ain't got no lashes, but I'm gonna act like I do. No, this is my first day of cosmetology school, and you would think that, you know, I would have a beat face like orientation. But today is skincare day. And I wanna look like I know what I know. I know a little something about my skin without having makeup done. And on top of that, I really just I want to go to the gym afterwards, and I hate going to the gym with makeup on. Yeah, I just be feeling like I'm doing the most. I wish I could really be those girlies that could just feel so comfortable. But yeah. So anywho. All right. So y'all had to turn on the light real quick just to make sure your girl was looking decent. But that is going to be part 1 of the series, and just to kind of go over everything, because I know I said a lot and y'all I talked in a tangent. You lose a taste for the world, you know what I'm saying? You stop partaking in certain sins because certain sins just don't become fun anymore. And then the other one would be you just start to see people's start to unmask themselves, you feel me? And I wouldn't even say they unmask themselves. The veil is lifted and you start to see people for who they are or who they are becoming because of the person that you're becoming. You feel me? And you're gonna grieve. You're gonna grieve a lot in the first I want to say the first 2 years. I mean, you're gonna grieve throughout the entire time because we are meant to suffer. If people tell you Christianity is not about suffering, it's about joy and peace and love, baby, that is a false doctrine. That is a false doctrine. You better get ready to suffer. But the difference is our suffering is not in vain, like the world's suffering. To suffer for a world that doesn't care about you and is going to end up having to suffer for eternity without God is different than suffering for a purpose, suffering to bring people closer to Jesus, so at the very end we can live with him in glory and where there's no pain and there's no hurt and no absence of him ever at all. So you got to pick what type of suffering you want. You want the suffering from the world, because you're going to get that regardless, or do you want to suffer on purpose for purpose? That's a bar. That's a bar. You feel me? So if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification for more updates, y'all. I'm gonna be posting these every Wednesday. I'm not gonna stop doing testimony Tuesdays. I did have to do a pause on that because I'm moving and I start school and all this other stuff, and things just became, yeah, but I'm gonna get back on that, you guys. And yeah, I'm gonna start doing actually more hair videos now that I'm gonna be learning more stuff, and skincare videos. So I actually have so much things that I kind of, now I have ideas of what I want to do my YouTube for. And I was really just focusing on TikTok. Like I said, follow me on TikTok, y'all. Because I just like short form content and I get a lot of words. So I do have tabs on my TikTok. So like for my Teen Wolf rants or Vampire Diary rants, or I don't know, watch Vampire Diaries, y'all, but you know, feel me? What's it called again? Or my Zah Chronicles, because Zah is a YN and that's why he can't come with me. Our relationship is very complicated, and if you want to know why, catch the series. I think it's like 20 some parts. I'm not even gonna cap. And yeah, I have words, I have Bible study breakdowns and stuff like that on there. Like I said, there's tabs and fitness tabs, you feel me? So for whatever reason you follow me, makeup videos, it's gonna be all on there, you feel me? But my goal is to get 1K subscribers, so if you please subscribe, I'm on here. The goal is to get 5K by the end of the year, but let's start with 1K, you feel me? And yeah, so this is my hair. It's my skincare, you feel me? I'm about to fix this little part right here because it's really pissing me off. Yeah, you can't even end the video, right? There we go. Trying to embarrass me. Okay. Because I do got to put my headband on. I know you're like, why haven't you put your headband on yet? I honestly have no idea. Completely forgot. But look at this, y'all. I always curl this one like more than like 3 times before I leave because it's always trying to be the star of the show. But all right, Bookies. Is there anything else I want to say? I want y'all to have a good day. If you are in North Carolina or up north and where it's snowing up here, y'all, stay safe, drive slow, leave early. You feel me? And or stay inside the house. You feel me? Thank God my school is literally like a minute away. Love that for me. But yeah, outside of that, y'all stay blessed and what? Y'all flex. Deuces.